Peace, family. Peace. What is good? Sorry, I thought I heard my door go. Um, yeah, fam. Coming in. Come on in. Want to have a talk. Want to have a natter. I want to kind of put things into perspective as to Lemon Egg was good. Khalil Benjamin was good. Kid Spence up in the building. Dean, good A, mate. The Crusaders in. Um, yeah, I want to have a talk about what humans did before religion, actually, because there seems to be a very melanated goddess. What's good? Um, there seems to be a big debate going on in general with human beings, and there's like a pushback of it's like religions seems to be like a cat dying its last breath, you know, like it's a screaming. This when your last breath is probably the loudest one. You know, you scream before you die, and yeah, I think religions dying a death. If I'm totally honest, if you look at church numbers are going down. Um, People say that Islam's the fastest growing religion, but it's also the fastest one that people are apostating from. Also, you got to statistically, a lot of Muslim countries have a higher birth rate than others, so that may be why, you know, it's growing. You know what I'm saying? It's not growing because people are converting. There are more people. Eddie Grant, day off, mate, day off. Should be at work. Um, yeah, they're saying a lot of people are. It's not like a lot of people are converting. A lot of people are leaving that religion. So I feel like people are actually becoming a little bit more secular and a little bit more agnostic or a little bit more atheistic um, within their mind frame. But yeah, I want to talk about prior to the coming of the major Western religions, um, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. You know, human beings were actually doing human being stuff. You know, they didn't need these Abrahamic religions to go off and live a good future. As a matter of fact, I've got a book here called The African Origins of the Major Western Civilizations. It's got stains and all sorts on it. Don't worry, it's not doo-doo. Um, it's by a guy called Dr. Ben Jochannan. And it's an interesting book because it goes into it's coffee stains. Don't worry, guys, coffee stains. It goes into how what Africans were specifically doing before the coming of the major Western religions, and also how African societies in and around the Nile Valley area actually influenced um, the major religions like Judeo Christianity and Islam. So it wasn't just, we were sitting around waiting, for these religions to pop up before we knew who we were. There's also this book I have called Black Man of the Nile and His Family by the same guy, Dr. Ben Jochannan. There are books like this. They Came Before Columbus by Ivan van Sertima. And that goes into the societies of South America and the coming of Columbus. And also, this is an interesting book. It's the interesting narrative of the life of Olaudah Equiano. Now, if you know anything about Olaudah Equiano, he was also one of the main people that got slavery banned from Great Britain. He was a Nigerian, or from the place that they called Oyo, which was in Nigeria. And he was actually, his story is fantastic. Because look, there he is right there. Nigerian guy, looking like an old Englishman. But is his autobiography, and basically what he has said himself. He was a slave, British slave, okay, and he was also a Nigerian slave. And in this book, he actually details a type of, because people say that Africans sold Africans into slavery, right? And oh, you Africans, you had your brothers in slavery. This man was actually a slave in Nigeria to Nigerians, to Africans. When he describes the type of slavery that they had him in, and that's why I do that, it wasn't chattel slavery, first of all. It was more of an indentured servitude. Though, you still haven't got your freedom. They didn't take away your name. You weren't whipped, you weren't castrated, you weren't less than a human being. So that's also an interesting way in which to view what slavery was like, quote unquote, in Africa. Could I please write the name of the books in the comment section after you finished? Yeah, I can do that for you. Painful Conscious, I can do that for you. Yeah, but what I'm saying is reading these books, right? Debs Donovan said just started to read the book the church does not want you to read. Book 2. It's very interesting, I know. It's very interesting. The point I'm trying to make is no matter where you go around the globe, not just Africa, you can go to Japan, you can go to China, you can go to Europe, you can go to anywhere. Before the coming of, you can go to the Greek civilization, okay? Before the coming of Christianity, human beings had civilizations, okay? So they didn't need Abrahamic religions to actually thrive. As a matter of fact, many of them thrived without Abrahamic religion. Look at the Greek. The Greeks thrived. They weren't Christian, later on, but initially the Greek society had, their Greek myths and all this kind of stuff. You can go to China and you can see the Great Wall of China. Now imagine what that must have took to build that. You can see it from space. Unless you can't, if you're on this flat earth stuff, I don't know. But you can see that stuff from space, right? And so they didn't have any Abrahamic religion pushing them forward to do all that kind of stuff. Africans of the Nile Valley, Africans from West Africa, you got all kinds of tribal societies who did great things. You have the oldest calendar you can find in South Africa, dated back 75,000 years ago. No Christianity then, no Judaism then, no Islam then. You can go back to, and I always go back to Africa because obviously it's because of the way in which I think. You can go back to a thing called the Ishango bone. And the Ishango bone was found in the Congo. They've dated it at 25,000 years ago. And it's the oldest mathematics device you can find on the planet. So these societies were doing mathematics. You can go to Nabda Playa in Nubia and find another old calendar there, which they've dated 11,000 years old. So, people before the coming of the major religions were doing quite well. They were doing quite well. Which is why I'm telling people you don't necessarily need religion to thrive into the future. You don't need to do it. Everyone has a belief in a system, a belief in a God concept. Everyone, and all of those societies had a belief in the divine or some kind of divine, but it was their divine, not the Abrahamic religious divine. And I'm saying we can't monopolize God. God cannot be monopolized, right? There is no one size fits all, only one God in the world. It just doesn't work. Never has worked, never going to work. You're always going to have conflict because people always have their own gods and their own concepts. And, what I find is Abrahamic religions try to monopolize what the divine is. They try to monopolize what God is. And so they enforce it down people's throat that there's only one God. And I'm like, come on, bro, we can name at least 10 off the top of our heads, right? We can name at least 10. So there isn't one God. And so what it is that it's not a willingness to accept that other people have different concepts other than theirs, okay? And that mindset is dangerous because it's arrogant and it's egotistical. It's arrogant and it's egotistical, and it doesn't allow for people to actually have a dialogue. If I go into a conversation with an Abraham religious person and I say, look, I've got a book that shows that people were in Africa doing great stuff before Christianity. They didn't need Christianity, didn't need Islam, they didn't need Judaism. They were doing just fine. Okay. What Abraham religions attempt to do is they attempt to sneak into the timeline of history. So they will say, oh, but in the beginning. And I'd be like, what are you talking about in the beginning? These people were before what you call the beginning. Because I've always said the Quran and the Bible are basically like birth certificates. They are. Your God was born in that year. Okay, he was just born in that year. You can't say in the beginning. I'm not going to accept it because you are going to have to substantiate your God outside of 1,400 years ago. And you can't show me Allah other than coming from these Semitic people. You can't show me Allah. And you can't show me Jehovah in China 3000 BC. You can't show me the Chinese were worshiping Jehovah, all this kind of stuff. And so you have to understand that different people done their own thing. And not everyone is going to go by your concept of God. Now, what Abraham religion people generally have is numbers. They have numbers. That's all you got. You got the most numbers on the planet of people that follow your stuff. Doesn't make you right. Doesn't make you correct. Doesn't make you factual. You just got numbers. And I told people numbers do not win. Do not win facts. That's it. Because Hitler convinced the whole of, a lot of Germany, with numbers that the Jews need to do X. We need to do X to the Jews. They had numbers. Doesn't mean they were correct. British Empire convinced millions of Britons that it's okay to go and colonize the world, kill people, enslave people, all this kind of stuff, because they had numbers. Doesn't make them correct. And so what we have to understand is just because you've got numbers, we got 1.6 billion Muslims, so what? You got numbers, doesn't make you correct. You can have 1.6 billion idiots. They're still idiots. Do you know what I mean? Just because you're believing some stuff, it doesn't make you correct. You can have 2.2 billion Christians. It doesn't make them correct. You can have 2.2 billion idiots. It doesn't make you correct. And so this is what I find. I just find that, you've got the numbers, but it doesn't make you correct. And people were doing, Jay Blacks is in the building. What's good, bro? You just got numbers, and people were doing just fine before you guys gathered numbers. Peace, family, please, says Harry Hill. Peace. Evoxy Evangelist says, Sarah, I endorse your pursuit in learning about your origins and supporting other Black people do so as well. I do not, however, support your efforts to bring them back to identifying with a human tribe. I would say essentially all human beings identify as tribe. It's always happened. You can go to as far back in human history to see that human beings generally gravitate towards people that are of their ilk, that are of their quote unquote tribe, that are of their village, that are of their whatever you want to call it. What I'm doing is nothing new, okay? But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to be stupid, okay? I'm not going to be stupid and be like, oh yeah, hug the world and everyone's love and everyone's equal. And it's like, well, if I have that mentality where everyone is equal, everyone is a human being, the current state in which we live, people are moving as nations and tribes and this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to about to get left out in the cold because, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, let's all love, man. Let's all be cool. It's like, well, people aren't being cool right now. Like, you see what just happened in Libya the other day? Like, people are still being enslaved. I can't ignore that. I can't ignore that fact. Just be like peace and love because it's not peace and love right now. Let's just be honest with ourselves, Sarah Garvey, there were no humans hundreds or tens of thousands of years ago. These numbers are incorrect, bruv. Wow, says Kalim. Was it Kaliam? Really? Okay, prove that, mate. Don't tell me you're some young Earth dude. Don't tell me you're a Christian. Don't tell me the world is only 6,000 years old. Please. Um, 3DS Geek says, I think we should worship nature. Part of the problem with modern humans is they worship people and profits. I wouldn't say worship nature, but but you're on the right. I would say you're on the right way. I would say understand your symbiotic relationship to nature. I guess human beings always before the coming of, certain other groups understood that nature is them and they are nature. And so they have a symbiotic relationship that they have to live in harmony with it because it's the thing that gives them life. Simple. Pollute the water, you're fucked because that's your water supply. Pollute the air, you're fucked because that's your air supply. Pollute the earth, you're fucked because that's where you grow your food. You know what I'm saying? Pollute the animals, you're fucked because that's where you get your meat from. And so it's really quite basic. Okay, there's a very basic understanding to live in harmony with which that with what gives you life. And I don't think, but I hear what you're saying. I don't think worshiping nature, but I think can understand your symbiotic relationship to nature. Mm, bum, bum, bum. They were humans millions of years ago, says 3DS Geek. The Abrahamic God concept is rooted in Zoroastrianism and Sumer, the Anunnaki. Away at A's in the building was good. Sarah, will the HE mob ever debate you? Who's that Hebrew Israelite? I don't know. I don't know. Sarah Garvey, so why wouldn't you believe that without mocking the idea of 16,000 years old then kill AM? Because I'll tell you a fun fact. Tell you a fun fact, kill AM. Um, the current calendar that we have today, um, let's talk about the stellar calendar, which is a star calendar. Stellar means star. The oldest stellar calendar can be found at a place called the Temple of Dendera. The Temple of Dendera is again in the Nile Valley. The star systems that are mapped out on the stellar calendar of Dendera is where we get our modern zodiac signs from. Cancer, Aquarius, Aries, Sagittarius, all that stuff. There are 12 constellations or 12, let's say star signs. Each star system takes 2,150 years to go through a cycle. 2,150 years to go through a cycle. There are 12 of them, which means to map out the stars, you basically need to map out the stars for at least 25,800 years. Let's round it off to 26,000. So you need 26,000 of just stargazing just to get to the first calendar. Our problem as human beings is we are judging other human beings based on our knowledge today, not realizing that people prior to us were probably doing greater stuff than what we're doing because of the ego that we have today. Yes, they may not have shot a rocket out into space. However, they were doing some real cool stuff like mapping out the star systems. And so if it takes at least 25,800 years just to map out the bloody calendar of Aquarius and Sagittarius and all this kind of stuff, what makes you think that the world is 6,000 years old, my friend? That's all I'm saying. It's a fun fact for you. Don't believe me, go look it up. Seriously, don't believe me, folks. Just look it up. Don't believe a word I just said. Just look it up. Because what I want the family to actually get smarter. Okay, I don't want them to say, see, oh, Sarah said, and I heard on the internet. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go and look it up. That's why I've got all these books that I'm showing you, right? I've got all this stuff because it's the fact that I haven't just listened to what people have said. I've taken time out myself to go and do the research and show. And so if you're going to come and tell me that, oh yeah, the Earth's 6,000 years old. I'm just going to say, you clearly have no idea about star systems and how they're mapped out. You clearly have no idea. Kaleum says, okay, sounds credible. I just question how accurate it is. You can question how accurate it is. That's cool. Of course you can. But then you got to think to yourself, if we mapped out, if you're dealing with the civilization of high science who have the time and effort to map out star systems, then you got to think it takes 25,800 years to map out the star system. And then you might think, oh, have we got it right? So it might take another 25,800 years to map it out again, just to make sure you got it right the first time. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So you can't come to me with this whole, oh, the Earth is 6,000 years old stuff. And that's what I talk about the Abraham religions. They have missed the trick because what they've said in their book is, in the beginning there was. And so I'm looking around at these, or I'm looking at these books like, okay, in the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning. And it's like, you don't mention the actual beginning? What do you mean? You don't actually mention the beginning of humanity. Adam and Eve, I've gone into this argument so many times. Adam and Eve cannot even be the name of the first male and female. It's etymologically impossible. Like I said, the first human beings would have been, who are African, would have had some kind of, that's when you go into etymology and you find that the oldest languages are the ones with the clicks. But you guys are telling me the oldest humans were called Adam and Eve, a language from a language base that wasn't even in existence when the first human beings were actually in existence. This is what I'm trying to say. From the beginning, these books have missed the trick. From the beginning, they've been wrong. Okay? It's been wrong from the beginning. You can't even get the beginning right. And so what it shows is these things are no different, right, to other people who had their own systems, you know, like, because you can go to China, Japan, Africa, South America. These people have all got their traditions, and they have a creation story and in the beginning story. Everyone's got one, and normally human beings place themselves in the beginning, their culture, in the beginning, because that's who they're talking to. They're talking to their culture. So I'm going to place my culture in the beginning. And you're supposed to, because that's your people. But don't, for instance, if a tribe in South America became dominant and they had their big creation story, and they said in the beginning the tribe of, you know, the Aztecs were so and so and so and so. We can't now superimpose that on the rest of the world and expect the rest of the world to take the Aztec story as a story for humanity. How the hell would the Aztecs know what was going on in China? How the hell would the Chinese know what was going on in, you know, the Aztec? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you guys, like, what are you talking about? You're talking about, and that's why these storybooks, the Bible and Quran, they start in the Middle East, in that just a little circle on the globe, just a little. If you look where these stories are actually, you know, sectioned, they're just sectioned in a little part of the globe. They're not talking about China. They're not talking about South America. They're not talking about Africa. They're not talking about the Antarctic. They're not talking about this stuff. They're just sending it in this little space on the planet, and they're expecting everybody from all over the planet to listen to them. It's like, bro, that's just your story from that place. But other people were doing other stuff before that story came about. Come on, we're not stupid. Or maybe people are. Maybe people are. Maybe these stories comfort them, which they do. Okay, it comforts you, and you know it gives you something to believe in at night. It's cool, but it doesn't make it fact, though. You see, doesn't make it a fact, and I'm trying to deal with facts at the moment. I'm actually trying to deal with facts. So yeah, family, everyone's entitled to their own story. They are. I'm not trying to take people's story away. I'm not trying to take the Quran away. I'm not trying to take the Bible away. I'm actually not. I don't believe in them, but I'm not trying to take them away. What you don't have the right to do is push them on every other people and say, this is a story for humanity. Nah, it's not. I don't accept that because you can't prove it. The Garden of Eden isn't the whole planet. Oh, family, I've got to take this call. I'm going to mute that. Sorry, fam. That was an important call. It was important when it's about money, my money. What were we saying now? Bum, 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 bum. What were we saying? I'm going to go up. He said, I'm calling Sarah. No, you're not, mate. Not unless you got my money, bro. Um, One finger ISIS. Oh, come on. Anyway, where was I? What was I saying, family? Before I was rudely interrupted. Well, it wasn't rude. I'm an atheist, says Lemon Fresh, but I have found comfort in the thought that just that lost loved ones are going to a better place. It's an attractive idea if you're distressed. Of course it is. Of course it is. The one thing all human beings have in common is is death, first of all. Okay. And we need stories about death because death frightens a lot of us. And so, because it's quite a frightening place, and you may have seen people die, you may have seen, all these kind of things, we make stories up about it. We can make stories up about, leaving, the earth and going into a greater place with all flowers and, whatever, like sunshine and rainbows and doves and all this kind of shit. And so, of course, it makes sense that people have made stories up. I don't deny people, making. I said I'm not trying to take people's stories away. I'm not trying to take it away. I'm just saying everyone has it. Everyone has it. Um, what are we saying? What is it? You guys are arguing in the chat section. Are you guys having a Barney in the chat section? What are you saying? Harry Hill says, "Was that your ancestors on a dog and bone?" Oh gosh. Um. Oh yeah, you guys have a Barney. Anyway, I'll leave you lot to argue it out. But yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, everyone has their story. Had it before. Religion, these major coming of these religions, we will have other stories coming up. That's what human beings do. We make up stories. Who knows? In 500 years' time, a story from a movie could be the new religion. Star Wars is becoming like You know, people are having like Star Wars religion and all this kind of stuff. So who knows, in 1,000 years' time, the story of Star Wars could actually be. Look at Scientology. Look at Scientology. Okay, Scientology, new religion, new story. It's popping up. That's becoming popular in Hollywood. Okay, it can spread. If it spreads, Scientology will be the new religion. You know, people make up stories. They just do. And then other human beings take them on, okay, and they just run with them. And then if you've got an army behind you, that's even better because you can now kill people in the name of this story and enforce it on them. And then the whole nation's got to be a bloody Scientologist. Okay. And so their children will be Scientologists. And then, 2,000 years from now, this whole section of the world is Scientologist. Okay. And they will believe it to be true. Doesn't matter whether or not they can, that prove it or not. It's just what human beings do, man. Kilayam says, bruv, Sarah, don't ignore this, bruv. Don't ignore what? Don't ignore what? Okay, so, bro, I've seen a nice video. You had this convo with that Pentecostal Christian. But Sarah, please can you talk with this Jehovah's Witness on cam or go to Kingdom Hall and tell them? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If it happens, normally I don't really go out, and find people to have conversations with. People normally come to me. But if I am out, like I'm out in the city somewhere and, and I see some people, speaking about stuff, I might approach them and say, how's it going? And you tell me about your good book, and have a conversation to them. Excuse me. Ezra's here. Ezra's always got something good to say. What are you saying? The fool have said in his heart that there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. I'm sure you believe that, Ezra. I'm sure 100% you believe that. But I don't. Do you know what I mean? And you're entitled to believe that. You're entitled to believe that. King Fact says, when's the next vidcast dropping? We got a guest for the vidcast at the end of the month. And everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows who they are. But I'm not saying. Just going to let you guys see it. I'm going to let you guys see it. Why don't you hook up a Carla with an interview? I would love to speak to a Carla. I would actually love to speak to a Carla. Myself and a Carla used to buy our books from the same book, so I used to see him in there all the time. You are proof, though, of the abominable work, says Ezra. If you say so, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you say so. You're entitled to your story, Ezra. I'm not trying to take it away from you. I don't believe that shit, but, you have every right to. Go ahead. Just like people don't believe that. Believe me when I say I communicate with my ancestors. You don't have to believe that shit, bro. It sounds like bullshit to you. Roll with it. I'm not even asking you to believe me, bro. Trust me, I'm not even asking you. But if I'm doing something, I'm not going to push it on you. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the point. And there's nowhere within, I don't have a doctrine that says, yeah, tell these people they must follow this or else. Like, bro, like, who the hell are you? And this is why I've said to people many times before. You see, when other people are chilling, you see, if I'm chilling on my sofa right now, yeah, if another guy sat on my sofa right next to me and we're just watching the TV or something, or we're on the internet, and he gets up and he looks at me and he says, you know what, Sarah, you see that computer you've got? It was made by little men on Mars. I'm going to look at him and be like, what? And I'll be like, bro, what are you talking about? Little men on Mars, what were you talking about? And he says, no, listen, I say it's made by little men on Mars. And if you don't believe me, then you're going to burn in hell. I'll be like, what the fuck is hell? Like, where are we going with this? He's like, listen, you need to follow what I follow or else. And I'm just going to be like, wow, you just created an enemy out of me. I was literally just sitting here chilling on my computer. This is what Abraham religions do. They run up on people and say, and people are chilling, doing their own thing. Just chilling, doing their own damn thing. And then Abraham religion runs up on them and says, hey, listen, see what you're doing there? That's wrong. And here's hell. And it's like, whoa. People are like, whoa, bro, we saying? Like, can we just talk about this? Can we say hi? Can we say, can I ask you about your stuff? No. If you don't follow what I follow, then you're going to hell. And then what I love about religious people is that they cry, right? They cry victim. After the person that they told is going to hell, they say, you know what, fuck your religion, fuck you, fuck your God, fuck this. And they start going crazy like, oh, that is Islamophobic. It's like, no, bro, like you were actually human phobic in the first place because you came to me, told me I was a pagan, told me I was a heathen, told me I was a kafir, told me I was this and all this, and I'm just chilling here not doing anything to you. But the second I start talking back about your stuff, then I'm Islamophobic. Like, what the hell are you talking about? If we take the religion, and I always juxtapose it into African history, Africans literally did absolutely nothing to Arabs, did absolutely nothing to Europeans to warrant being invaded. They were invaded with these religions, right? Africans chilling. If you want to say, oh, they were doing X, they weren't touching you. They were doing what the fuck they were doing amongst themselves and weren't touching anybody. And then when I, as an African, shoot back at Islam and say, listen, your religion's racist. As a matter of fact, your religion's got a guy who had sex with a 9-year-old. As a matter of fact, and you're like, oh, that's Islamophobic. It's like, bro, you came to my continent with this shit. Bro, I've got every fucking right to critique the stuff that came to my continent to start whipping, enslaving, castrating my people. What are you talking about? I ain't gonna stop just because you're scared and you're a little fruitcake. If you couldn't handle the critique, you shouldn't have come to the continent, bro. You couldn't have come to the continent. That's how it is. Kilayam says, how you explain that? That's what it is. Just think about this. Everyone else, yeah, is chilling. Chilling. And I'm not saying they weren't having wars amongst themselves and they weren't having intertribal wars. I'm not saying that. I'm saying because everyone has intertribal wars. We can go to the Vikings. We can go to, the Celts, and we can go to Scotland. We can go to Wales. We can go all around the world. People were having their own discrepancies. Africa's no different. But when another nation of people encroach upon your country and then start doing stuff and enslaving you and raping you and castrating you and stealing from you and all this kind of stuff, you have every right to look at them and say, bro, what the did I do to you? Why you would just do this? What did I do to you? I didn't do anything. And then I'm not physically fighting back. I'm not doing any of the stuff that Islam or Judeo-Christianity did to me. I'm not trying to kill anyone, not trying to rape anyone, not trying to castrate anyone, I'm not trying to do any of that. Yeah. But when I start speaking on the horrors that they did and on the religion, then everybody's got a problem with Sarah Garvey. I'm like, bro, have you got like a 2-second memory? Do you understand what your religion has done to the continent? Like, have you got a 2-second memory though? Because I'm just wondering, because I have every single right to critique your stuff when you came to my continent doing this stuff. I have every single right. But the people within the religion are so like sensitive, Oh, you can't say that about us. That's blasphemous. It's like, shut up. Do you think I give a damn about your blasphemy when, my people are just chilling, in the village, living in nature, doing their thing, and then your stuff came to, do you think I care about your feelings right now? Trust me, I don't. I really don't care about your little snowflake feelings. I really don't. And the biggest snowflakes we have, we know who the biggest snowflakes are. You see them all the time at Speaker's Corner. Snowflakes, bunch of men leaking out their manginas all over the place, can't take a critique for anything, right? Get all emotional when somebody starts critiquing their religion or critiquing their prophet or all this kind of stuff. Bunch of bloody women, bunch of PMSing grown-ass men on their periods on a constant basis. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that. It's like, shut up, you fucking bitch. Like, seriously, like, man the fuck up. You clapped at me first, bro. I didn't clap. I'm just clapping back. I'm just simply clapping back. You can't take the clap back? Don't clap first. It's really quite simple. Don't shoot first, and then people start shooting back, you start crying, like, oh, they're shooting at me. It's like, bro, you shot first, though. Like, you shot first. If you wasn't ready to take the shots, then you shouldn't have shot first. It's really that simple. I can't slap you in your face, and then when you slap me in my face, I start crying. It's like, bro, I'm the one that slapped you first. Like, come on. I'm telling you, guys, we're living in a very upside down, topsy turvy world right now. It's a bit weird for me, you know. It's actually a bit weird. Um, I'm expressive. I'm an expressive individual. I guess it goes back to my acting days. I've just always been expressive, so it is what it is. I think it gets a point across though better sometimes when you just express it a little differently from other people. Um, do a live hangout, Sarah. So Zulu. Zulu, what's good, bro? Zulu's my bro, man. I don't lie. I don't mind you, but you know you ain't gonna convert me to Christianity, bro. Like we're cool, Zulu, but it ain't gonna happen, son. Um, what Lead says, you're jealous about the fact of how Islam has been exposing atheism. Do you see the mentality? Everything that I've just said made sense. Everything I just said made sense logically. But the comment is that. And that's when I realized I'm dealing with brain dead individuals. Do you know how frustrating it can be when you've known you've made sense from the beginning of what you said to the end of what you said? And then they come with that kind of dumbass argument. Oh, you're jealous because shut the fuck up. Like, who the fuck is jealous? That is the low IQ of a lot of these people. Yeah, it is frustrating speaking to people with such low IQ. I'm telling you, because and then what happens is they'll get like a million high fives from yeah, he is, he's jealous, yeah, yeah, he's jealous, yeah, and you celebrate amongst yourself. And I'm like, what a bunch of dumbasses! Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know, I don't know. Uh, that's why I can't. It's frustrating speaking to people who can't follow a coherent argument. Sarah Garvey, is the Arab slave trade talked about in UK schools, says Dorsey. I don't think it is, you know. I know they may talk about the European slave trade, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't been into schools, but I don't remember learning about it in school. The Arab slave trade, hell no. I don't. I don't remember it. And it's a big part of history that's left out because the Arab slave trade was the first we can talk about Europe and the relationship that Europe had to African people and how Europeans from the French to the English to the Spanish to the Portuguese to the German to the Dutch came into Africa, raping, robbing, pillaging, and enslaving. But before that even happened, the first one to do it was the Arab Muslim. The first one to do it was an Arab Muslim. And I'm telling you, speak to a Muslim about it, and I'm telling you, the amount of the wall of denial that you get is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Even when we can still see it today in Libya, they've still got a denial going on. And that is the most frustrating thing to look into somebody's face and say all of these factual statements, and all you get back is 100% denial and deflection and diversion. It is frustrating. I think to myself, wow, even today, you guys aren't ready to deal with it. You aren't ready to deal with it. I've got another book. Oh, I lent it out. I should never lend out books. It's called The Veiled Genocide. Okay, it's by a French Senegalese ex-Muslim, and he actually details the Arab Muslim slave trade in regards to African people, the castrations, the way they took women and put them into the harems and were having sex with all the African women. It's a very detailed historical account, and it's just something that still goes on today, and people act like it doesn't exist. And that is why the racism in Islam persists, specifically because they haven't actually dealt with the historical implications of their religion. Now, I'm not saying Europe isn't racist in any way, shape, or form, but Europe have kind of come to an agreement that, yeah, we did colonize you. It was race based. Yeah, and they're in that place. Like they're kind of in between wanting to feel guilty, but wanting to tell people to move on and all this kind of stuff. Arab Muslims, they're just denying it like it doesn't even bloody happen. They just deny it like, what you're talking about? Islam came to civilize. Da, 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 da. Bilal was a slave. We freed Bilal. Da, 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 all this kind of stuff. It's just like, bro, can we actually have a conversation about what's going on and about what actually happened here? They are not looking to they're not looking to talk about it. And the black Muslims don't even talk about it. The black Muslims jumped from the frying pan into the fire. The ones that were Christian and thought they were going to jump out of Christianity into Islam, thinking, yeah, I'm going to do something different. It's like, bro, you jumped into the fire. It's what you just done. You were in the frying pan, you jumped into the fire. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, you guys need to really think about the Arab Muslim slave trade in regards to black people, because it still goes on today. It still goes on today. But then Sarah's a bad guy. Remember, I'm the bad guy for speaking about it. You know, they'll talk about anything else. Holland in the house. Sarah's a bad guy for speaking about it. Sarah Lipa says, there have been more than 4,000 religions since man walked the earth. When are we going to start following this crap? Do you know? August Ransom's in the building. These stupid ass people really believe horses fly. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. If you're trying to have a logical, rational, reasonable conversation with somebody who essentially thinks, yes, there was actually a flying horse, and yes, a man, you saw the preacher I was speaking to the other day. He said a man rose from the dead after months of being dead. I mean, what do I say to that? Like, all right, fine, if that's what you believe, but I'm sure you want me to prove it. Like, these people believe this stuff. So when you're trying to have a rational, reasonable conversation, they believe that, serpents actually spoke, like snakes spoke. Like, how do I have a conversation with this kind of like hard-headedness? How? I can't. Clifton Howard, have you looked into the evidence of the Bible, bro? Says Clifton Howard. This is the thing, Clifton. I've always said this. The best way in which to tell a lie, the best way is to mix it in with some truth. So the evidence of the Bible, you can go to the Bible and point to historical, maybe cities and stuff that the Bible will reference and be like, hey, you see? I talked about Babylon. Babylon existed. Ha! The whole book must be true. No, because you can't prove a talking serpent, bro. Like, you can't give me the whole book and tell me because you can prove one thing, I'm supposed to take the whole book. I'm not that stupid. You see this book here? Or you see this book here? Everything in the book has to be fact checked. It has to be fact checked. Everything. You can't just it might have got 99% right in that book, but that 1% could still be wrong. People are not willing to understand or willing to take on that their religion could still be wrong in some ways. The book could still be wrong. You might be right on some stuff. Here comes Ezra. The Bible is a fact. The whole Bible is a fact, yeah? Okay. You're entitled to believe that. You're entitled to believe that. But you know what a fact is, though? A fact is something that's proven. And I don't know how you're going to prove talking snakes, dude. I don't know how you're going to prove talking snakes. And now Zulu says the Bible is a fact. Oh, good. I like you guys' tenacity, though. I really do. Like, the tenacity of Christians and Hebrews. I talk about, the Hebrew Israelites. It's a tenacity that's not going to send you death threats. So I appreciate you guys' tenacity. Do you know what I mean? Islam, they'll send you death threats. You know what I mean? They'll want to cut your head off and blow your ass up, run you down on a bridge, and then tell you their stuff's real. But you guys, I appreciate your tenacity because, essentially, it's not going to harm me, but I appreciate it. Howard Clifton says, Israelites are the KKK, in my opinion. That's interesting. How would they be the KKK, in your opinion, Clifton Howard? Because I'll tell you something about the Hebrew Israelites, and I don't agree with anything they say. Well, a lot of what they say. I don't say anything because I haven't researched everything. But then I know they're not planning putting a scheme and start lynching people and hanging them from trees and bombing churches and stuff. So I think the comparisons of the KKK might be a bit of a stretch, bro, And that's what I'm saying. An emotional dialogue isn't needed. We can have something objectively because a lot of people said, listen, what did Ali Dawah say? Ali Dawah said Tommy Robinson is just like Hitler. I said, what? He's like, oh yeah, he's just like Hitler because that's how Hitler started. He started talking about people, and then all of a sudden, they had them in ovens. Like, bro, that's a huge fucking leap, bro. To compare Tommy Robinson to Hitler, bro. Like, what the fuck? I know your emotions have got the best of you, bro, but shit, like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like, Tommy Robinson's not Hitler, bro. Like, come on, you know? So, I don't know. Like, emotional conversation, I don't know, it doesn't get anywhere. Like, if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're not actually rationally thinking, that it pisses me off, if I'm honest. Like, you'll definitely see me get frustrated with people who aren't having like, rational conversation. If I'm not having a rational conversation, I get just as pissed off as they do sometimes. And I'm like, they're not making any sense. Let me not. And then I walk away thinking, why the hell did I just speak to that person? You know? It was black, I get into it. It's Labour Unionist Party. Sorry, said if I was black, I'd get into Haitian voodoo. It is badass religion. It is it's a badass religion. Um, Speaking of Tommy Robinson, Sario, are you going to the Tommy Robinson demo July 14th? I try to stay away from demos, if I'm honest. I always stay away from demos. I don't think, nah, I always try to stay away from demos. It's not like I don't support the demo, but I myself try to stay away from them. Deep Message, does Gary have a Twitter? Gary does not have a Twitter. He does not. Lemon Fresh is a nationalist who critiques faith. I think that the link they are making, that's a link that they're making, but that would make you Hitler too. It would make me Hitler too, because I'm gathering an army to start burning people. Do you know? Um, but when people are emotional, they only deal in extremes. They only deal within extremes. So I cannot. It's not my place to cater to people's emotions. It's not. Like, I'm not. You have to be in control of your own. You have to be in control of your own emotions. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your psychiatrist. I'm not your shrink. I am not. You can't come and speak to me with all this emotion. I ain't trying to hear it. You want to have a conversation with me? The only person I really speak to with all that emotion would be my woman. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd listen to it. I'd sit down, try and grin and bear it. Do you know what I'm saying? But all that other emotion that you're trying to bring to me, I ain't trying to hear that shit. So, yeah, people too emotional out here. What are we saying now? Um, Freedom of speech is very important, Sarah. I know. Waleed, he talks to his ancestors. Ha 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 ha. Can I ask why you choose to stay away from demos, Darren Jury? Um, I choose to stay away from demos just simply out of the fact that I'm not saying they don't have their purpose. I'm not saying they don't have their purpose. I'm just not for the whole demo and marching thing. I say that because, see, I'm coming from a different place. Now, I'll go into that another time. I'll go into it another time, but I just stay away from them. But I will go into it at one time, at some point in time. Sacre bleu. Someone said Jedi and Maku's pedo burning army sound good to be fair, says Carlos David. Oh gosh. David Blaine and Dynamo are working for the devil. Okay, how much is he paying them? Is that a PAYE scheme that the devil's got going on, or are they self-employed? You know what I'm saying? Is it cash in hand type of work? Or is it PAYE? Are they taxed? The devil's employing folks, you know? Rajiv is definitely in a grooming gang, says the Labour Unionist Party. I don't think so. I don't think so. What else, fam? I'm gonna roll out in about 5 minutes. Do you not? Dr. Killer Masters in the building, said the devil. Grow up, mate. Sarah, what could turn you onto religion? Harry Hill. I'd start my own or something. I don't know. There's money in that shit, right? But no, I'm not a religious type person. I do my own shit. Do you read books? Oh, okay, no. Sarah Garvey, Ali Dawah talks about Tom Robinson makes money from Islamophobia, but recently made 25K from his GoFundMe. Well, that's because you got sheep, that all believe the same thing. We're going to put them, look how much money the church makes every year. Billions. The church makes billions a year, because people believe that stuff. So, like it's very easy to get people to come out of their pocket if you promise them something that you're not. I spoke to people about the invisible car, the invisible Ferrari that you describe, that is the best car you've ever wanted to drive. And the description is fantastic. However, you just got to give me your money first before you get it. You haven't seen this thing though. You have not seen this Ferrari. You have not seen this car. But the way in which I describe this car gets your emotions going. And you're like, what? That car is fantastic. Here's my money now. And it's like, where's the frigging car? So that is literally the religion. Like people give their money away because of descriptions of stuff, but there's nothing tangible. There's nothing tangible. Like Harry Hill said a little bit about you. When you say, do you like big booty or them skinny gal? No. I like my women thickum like a schnickum. Anyway, I tell people already, if anyone that follows my Facebook will know that Amara La Negra is, I post pictures of that woman all the time. She is. Carlos says, and then you kill others that don't believe the car. Exactly, Carlos David. You kill the other people that don't believe in this invisible car. It's a crazy system, bro. Like, it's mad. Yogi B was good. Flying Spaghetti Monster says names policy. Amara La Negra is. See, you know this, J Boogie. You know this, son. Waleed, oh, there you are. Sarah, you are cashing in on Islamophobic card, doing the same thing as Tommy. Waleed, let me ask you a question though. If you're willing to actually have a conversation, what is Islamophobia, please? I don't know if you've been following the whole conversation, but you seem like you're a Muslim. Your name's Waleed. So, like, what actually is Islamophobia? Because I want to know. I want to know. Can anyone tell me what Islamophobia is, as a matter of fact? That's the question, family. What is Islamophobia? What is it? Islamophobia is code for blasphemy. Lemon Egg said the gremlin stayed away today. Crusader says no idea. Yeah, what is Islamophobia? Please, like, and like I said in my description, what I said before, if I run into your house and just kick your door down and start killing everyone in the name of Islam, right? The people in the house are they? Do they have a right to be a little bit scared of what's going on? Like, do they have a right to be? I'm just saying, like, if that's what I done, if I run up in your house, kick your door down, kill everyone in each room, left you alive, and I did it in the name of Islam, does the person in the house have a right to be like, whoa, I don't trust that thing? I'm just saying, you can't tar me with the Islamophobia brush because I can. Before you, there was even such thing. There was human phobia. Yeah. on the part of Islam because you're pagan, you're heathen, you're kafir, you're this and the kuffar, and you came to my your religion came to my continent with that enslaving, raping, castrating, stealing. You can tell me that I'm scared of you, bro. You're crazy. Like you're actually crazy, bro. Like I don't get. That's the victim mentality that you got now. You got a victim mentality. Your religion that started a quote unquote, or you create an enemy, and then when your enemy claps back, oh, you're Islamophobic. Shut the fuck up, man. Don't come to people's continent raping, robbing, killing, and pillaging then. Maybe, just maybe, people would like you if you didn't do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Just maybe. Just, it's just a piece of advice, you know? It's a piece of advice. Like I'm not gonna do that to people. Like I'm not gonna run up in people's places and just invade their house and then wonder why they don't like me. It's like, bro, it's pretty self-evident, you know. You can't use the Islamophobic card on me. I don't accept that bullshit, bro. Yeah, I don't accept that bullshit at all. You came to my continent with that shit, with the craziness. Don't tell me I'm Islamophobic, bro. You are not the victim here. We can go to Libya, we can go to Saudi, we can go to Qatar, we can go to all these places and find black victims of Islam. Don't tell me that you're the victim because I ain't having it. Black people didn't come to Islam, to the Arab Muslims, and do any of that stuff. Do you think I'm going to accept your term of Islamophobia? Bro, you can take that term and shove it where the sun don't shine, bro. Yeah, because before there was Islamophobia, there was you guys seem to be African phobic. Yeah, you got African phobia. You got African phobia. But I'm not. But the thing is, I don't need to make up dumbass terms just to show that you're a bloody savage barbarian. I just call you a bloody savage barbarian. I ain't got time to be making up, made up terms and shit. You're just a savage barbarian. Came to the continent, raping, pillaging, doing all that kind of stuff, castrating. And the thing is, what was going to happen now is you're not even going to deal with what I said. Yeah, they got cathophobia, says Labour Unionist Party. They're not even going to deal with what I said. They're going to be like, oh, Sarah's Islamophobia. They'll still repeat. And that's what I'm saying. I'm dealing with some low IQ, brain dead individuals, zombies, literally. Zombies, literally zombies. Like nothing that I've said doesn't make sense. However, they're still going to go and tell their friends, oh, Sarah was making an Islamophobic rant on his channel. It's like, just dumb. So dumb. Like, I don't even know how the brain gets that bogged down with dumbassness. I know that's not a word, but how does a brain get that bogged down with dumbassness? Maybe I can coin that term. Dumbassness. I don't know. You can't increase some in someone's IQ with education, says Smith Winston. I guess if they're not willing to Bilal Ahmed says, Sarah, forgive them because they know not what they do. It's true. Lemon Fresh says, half this conversation has been critiquing Christianity, but you're Islamophobic. I know, because I tell you, they're snowflakes, bruv. I'm telling you, they're the most, as we've said, they're the most emotional bunch of men, yeah, that I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. Emotional. Leaky manginas everywhere. Someone needs to plug up their mangina, you know, bleeding everywhere, all over your legs. Lemonade said, if there's a question, if you could have a conversation with Muhammad, what would you say or ask? I'd ask him why he thought it was okay to have sex with a 9-year-old girl. I really would. I'd ask him why he thought it was okay to have sex with a 9-year-old girl. Just because people say, oh, but his father gave him to him. Bro, like that's still that's still no excuse. Like what? You're gonna come with a 6-year-old and be like, go ahead, marry my girl. I'm gonna be like, bro, move your fucking kid from me and don't ever in your life say that shit to me again. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on in your head why you think I want to look at your 6-year-old girl like, ooh, isn't she nice? No, bro. Like, no. When I've got all these lovely women around me, why the fuck am I looking at a 6-year-old? No, no. Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that. Sorry, like just because someone offered, bro, I can offer you a naked woman right now. Doesn't mean you have to take it. Do you understand? Like, there's a thing called no. That's what people say. And a lot of people use the same thing with slavery. It's like, oh, but Africans sold Africans to slavery, and the only reason why Europeans took African slaves because Africa, bro. If I've got a fucking slave for sale, does that mean you got to take it? You can look at another human being and be like, the human being's crying, they want their family, they don't know where they are. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'll take him. It's like, where's your brain? Don't you think, hang on a minute, that guy's missing a family. That woman's missing a family. No, I'm not gonna take that person because that's frigging immoral. Okay. Go and bring that person back to who they came from. Yeah. And they'll offer me that shit. He's gonna be like, well, I mean, you was offering, so I took it. Like, where is your moral compass? Like, where the fuck is your moral compass if you can see a naked person crying for their, for their family and be like, well, I'm sure no one's gonna miss them. I'll take 10. It's, what? What the fuck? Where the hell is your moral compass, bro? Like, what the fuck? That's why I don't get it. I don't get the argument of, oh yeah, well, Africans were selling them. Bro, you don't have to buy them, bro. Like, bypass it. I go to Tesco and they're selling all kinds of shit. That don't mean I gotta buy everything on a fucking shelf. I'll look and be like, you know what? I don't like that. you know, you know, like there's stuff you don't have to get, bro. Like just because it's there being sold. Like, wake the fuck up. Uh, the Rock says, "Where's Big Bro? Big Bro's chilling, man. Big Bro's chilling. I got to meet with him this week, I think. Um, we got some good stuff going on, man. Seriously, me and Big Bro creating a little empire behind the scenes, you know. But he's good. He's good. They took him off Twitter. They removed him off Twitter, so we can't get another Twitter account. But don't worry, we building, son. We building. Tara, do you want to convert all Africans to Sahraism? No, I don't. I just want people to bloody think, man. Just think. Seriously, like, that's all I want people to just think. I want thinkers because you don't have to think like me either. Like, if you don't think like me, you ain't going to burn in hell. Do you know what I'm saying? But just be someone who can actually think, critique stuff, like break stuff down, just be someone like that. Like, be someone who doesn't get, caught by the herd and just run with the herd just because the herd's going right. When everyone else goes right, just go left just to see what the hell's down there. It's like that. It's literally, I was watching Planet of the Apes the other day, and the original one with Charlton Heston, and they had the Forbidden Zone, right? The Forbidden Zone that no one was allowed to go to, the Forbidden Zone. And everyone throughout their life been told, don't go to the Forbidden Zone. Do not go to the Forbidden Zone. And everyone told everybody else, not go to the Forbidden Zone, the Forbidden Zone, the Forbidden Zone. It's like, someone just say, why? What is in that Forbidden Zone? Why I can't go there? Fuck what you say. I'm gonna see what's down there. Don't just roll with the herd because the herd say there's a Forbidden Zone. Go to the place. That's why in my conversations, I run to the place where everyone's trying to run away from. That's why I run to the African slave trade, the Islamic Arab slave trade within African people, because I can see that people don't want to go there. So I'm like, I can see you're trying to run away from this place. So I'm going to run right to it. Okay. And that's where we're going to have our conversation. And I'm going to make you uncomfortable and I'm going to make you speak about it. Okay. Because I ain't got time for this hiding shit. Stop hiding. Stop hiding. It's there. Look into it. Okay. Um, yeah, fam, I think I'm gonna roll out now. Oh, we got a troll in here. Okay, fair enough. Um, Night on the tiles. Do you think the talking snake could be reasonable explained with enough time to listen to it. It could be metaphorical for something, of course. It might be a metaphor for something, but people literally think there's a talking snake. So, you know, it's literally a talking snake, bro. If it's a metaphor, so be it. We can all have metaphoric speech. I've got no problem with it. I've got no problem with it, but it's actually taught in many circles that it was a literal talking snake. So, you know. John Smith, I am, bro. I am, John. Um, Came to the Lions Den, aka why'd you behave like a sheep in Hyde Park? Sarah, just come to the Lions Den, aka Hyde Park. Why would you behave like a sheep in Hyde Park? What are you talking about? I asked you to explain to me what Islamophobia is, and this is your next comment. Like, bro, I don't a sheep. Okay, I've been in Hyde Park for like 4 years, bro, on my own, amongst your Muslim brethren. No sheep's here, bro. I came to the Lions Den and ate a lot of your quote unquote lions, bro. Trust me. Um, Bilal, he says speaker's corner more like cat's corner. It's emotional corner. It's emotional corner. It's not even speaker's corner anymore. It's a bunch of emotional men, you know, talking nonsense and then getting, oh, my God's better than your one. You know, my dad's better than your dad. You know, my dad can beat up your dad in a fight. It's like, oh, shut up, man. Like, shut up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna period corner. Mangina corner. You know, that's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it Mangina corner. The place where blood flows. That's bad taste. That's bad taste. Um, that is bad taste. I apologize, folks. I apologize. Um, sorry. I'm just looking at the. You guys. Oh, you guys. All right, it's time to go. It's time to go. I got stuff to do. I got children to pick up from school, man. Right, family. Peace, family. Peace. It's been enjoyable. It's been good today. I hope we all learned. All right. Peace out.